The 95th Academy Awards take place on Sunday night. So, having had my rant already and got it out of my system about who I felt deserved to be nominated and who got snubbed wrongly, it's now time for me to have my Oscar prediction. So, there's a way to do this because I think I need to break this into two separate parts. What I want to see happen or what I think deserves to win versus what I think is actually going to win, which you have to really do. Because the Academy, who, for the purpose of this exercise, we'll just call Oscar, okay? We'll give it a human form because if Oscar was a person, it'd be like a teenager who watches a documentary for the first time and watches one documentary on a given subject and gets engaged for the first time and has to become an expert on it. They ultimately probably mean well, but they're loud about it and aggressively looking for clout. So they're kind of like, excuse me, I actually know all there is to know about the plight of emperor penguins because unlike some people, I actually care about the planet. They're trying to be different and special and maybe overcompensate for how ignorant they felt previously on the subject by liking something niche about it. So it implies that they've always been interested in it. Like, oh my God, you didn't see Parasite? That's like my fourth favorite ever Korean movie, which is saying something because I've lost count of the Korean movies I've watched. They ask a lot of others in the name of kind of morality while also glaringly refusing to give up even an inch of their own privilege. In fact, they usually argue that whatever cause they're championing entitles them to further privilege. And ultimately, when you step back, their opinions only seem to benefit themselves. And conversely, you rarely see people who won't benefit from having these viewpoints getting on board. And when you think of the likes of Time's Up, for example, the movement that happened and took over award ceremonies in recent years, a few years ago, for example, it was all women at the forefront, with very few of Hollywood's men doing more than wearing a pin or shaking their head like an Irish granddad saying, "That's just terrible." And there's precisely zero consistency or follow through in views. Whatever causes they're voting for is usually based off whatever trend is getting traction that year. If you look at, for example, Oscars So White a few years back and how that movement coincidentally led to a lot of black actors and black-led projects rightfully winning awards. Yet then this year you'd look at Viola Davis and Danielle Deadwyler just chilling at home despite both deserving to be in the Best Actress mix. So that's Oscar. Oscar is essentially an attention, clout-seeking trend hopper who likes saying the right things when the camera is looking, but once they give out an award, they think that they've just fixed whatever problem or adequately celebrated whatever minority is in the limelight at the time before then reverting back to the status quo at the first available opportunity. So let's go into our picks. Let's look at what I think Oscar's going to pick and what I think deserves to win. This year, I think Oscar wants to show the world that he's just like regular folk like you and me, buddy, without losing his street cred too much either and still kind of having his fancy taste. So I'm picking Top Gun Maverick to clean up in the technical awards for the likes of editing, sound, and VFX. While I think Elvis is going to get the nod for cinematography, although I'd prefer to see Empire Light and think it deserves it, and Avatar wins production design. Oscar always loves to show that he's on top of all the cool international threads and will follow the crowd in giving Nadu Nadu from RRR Best of Original Song, which, to be fair, I agree with. There's an opportunity for Oscar to pat his old pal John Williams on the back, though, for his Fableman score, so I think he's going to. In 2022, I'm more of a Son Lux kind of guy myself who likes to listen to John Williams' back catalogue, so I'd personally go Everything Everywhere, but I think that's going to get its time to shine later in the night. Oscar, I feel, is going to irritate the shit out of me on Best International Feature. I just know it. Objectively, and I know even if you're not from Ireland and you're watching this on TikTok or listening to this podcast, you're hearing my accent and you know, oh, he's going to say on Colleen Kuhn. But objectively, on top of it being Irish and the first ever Oscuelga movie that's nominated for an Oscar, it is the best movie on this list. In fact, do you know what? I'd pick any of the other contenders above the person I know Oscar is going to pick, which is going to be All Quiet on the Western Front. For animated feature, Oscar is going to show that he's still cool, he's still edgy, he's still down with the kids by giving it to Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, despite Marcel the Shower Shoes on being the one that's going to actually be cool with the kids for years to come. The Screenplay Awards are generally an opportunity for Oscar to award movies which won't get the Best Picture and Director nods. So I'm going for Banshees of Inisherin to win Original Screenplay and All Quiet on the Western Front for Adapted Screenplay, even though I pick Everything Everywhere and Top Gun Maverick myself, respectively. Onto the supporting acting roles now. And for actress, I feel Oscar is going to be split between Jamie Lee Curtis and Stephanie Zhu from Everything Everywhere. So I think they're going to cancel each other out. While I think he still feels a little bit guilty about his white supremacist roots showing through a few years ago when Chadwick Boseman was predicted to win Best Actor, but then got snubbed for Anthony Hopkins at the last minute. So I think Angela Bassett is going to take this for Wakanda Forever. And that's not to take away or minimize Angela Bassett's work. I think she deserves to win it. I'm quite happy with that. But the correct pick in this category is actually Stephanie Zhu. Don't feel too sad for Everything Everywhere, though, as I feel Oscar is going to use this year to show that he's all about Asian cinema again, despite the fact that Everything Everywhere is not an Asian movie. It is a Hollywood movie produced by A24 that just happens to star Chinese actors. But again, Oscar never gets into the details when it comes to minorities. I think Ki Hyun Kwang and Michelle Yeoh, I both want and think they will pick up the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor and Best Actress. Best Actor, though, that is an absolute battlefield. Paul Mescal is clearly the most deserving pick. Again, not just saying that because I'm Irish. And do you know what? It is an Irish-heavy year with the likes of Banshee and on Colleen Kuhn and stuff like that. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that he gets in there. And as well, like, Oscar should feel guilty for snubbing Aftersun for Best Picture in favor of the likes of Triangle of Sadness, Tar, or Avatar. But I don't think today is Paul's day. Bill Nighy getting a Legacy Award for Living, Colin Farrell getting top-level recognition for Banshees, and Austin Butler embodying a character so thoroughly in Elvis are all traditionally favourable Oscar narratives. So it is a tight race with no clear favourite. But when in doubt in tight races like this, you can ask yourself one thing. Is any of the candidates doing a dramatic physical transformation or acting with a disease? And in this stage, we have Brendan Fraser. Come on down, whether you deserve it or not, who's grabbing Oscar's attention with both a physical role and a comeback narrative where a golden statue somehow makes up for Hollywood being a little bit of a historical moral cesspool. On to the biggies now. So, Best Director. You can immediately rule out, rightfully, Todd Field and Ruben Östlund for Tar and Triangle of Sadness, respectively, who are both just extremely fortunate to be here. Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert should win for Everything Everywhere, clearly the best directed movie of the pack. Martin McDonagh will win this if Oscar is absolutely drunk this year. And to be fair, Oscar is quite fond of the drink. That does happen regularly, so it is a possibility. But I think Steven Spielberg staying relevant in 2023 while producing a movie about how important the thing that Oscar is most interested in, himself, the movies, will be enough to get him the nod for Fabelmans. So, what we have left with Best Picture. We have All Quiet, Avatar, Banshees, Fabelman, Top Gun, Maverick, and Elvis have all been recognized. Triangle of Sadness and Tar shouldn't be here to begin with, so I'm fine with them being completely stuffed for the night. We've already heard enough of the women talk. As I said earlier, Oscar will tend to just forget about certain narratives, and women talking is not on the agenda this year. Women talked when they did the Time's Up movement thing, and Oscar's just not about that anymore. There's a new trend in town. So with that as well, then we have one left by elimination, and we have to ask ourselves, does it tick the right boxes, though? Is it something different that Oscar can get clout and attention and seem trendy for knowing about? Yes, it is. Does it celebrate people who don't normally get celebrated and give them an award so that Oscar can just go back to completely forgetting about these people again? Yes, it does. Does it have momentum from previous ceremonies without absolutely sweeping the board so Oscar can feels the need to go left and show that it's special and different by choosing something else at the last minute? Yes, it does. And least importantly for Oscar, is it the best movie of the year? Yes, it is. I predict both Oscar and I will give the Best Picture this year to Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Deservedly so.